What you're about to see is a video snippet from inside the boiler room. Every single morning before the open of the US stock markets, I analyze dozens of stocks and then decide on the trades that we're going to look at for that day with dozens of traders. We all get together, execute trades, chat some, and make some money together on a Zoom conference call. Go to thepatterntrader.com/club to find out more. To me, I think the one sector that seems like it has been the leading sector. It has been the only sector that really hasn't meaningfully broken. We've had some wobbles, is really energy. And, it all started off, this is the XLE, which is the ETF that, is like a mutual fund for all of these energy stocks. And you can see we've basically been hugging this trend line. Every time we intersect here, you just see that's just amazing. That's why you have to understand price. Even if you're a fundamental player, you have to understand price. And so we've been in this ascending broadening pattern. Now, typically we've looked at these ascending broadening patterns, and they're usually bearish, but they, can be a neutral pattern. And this thing looks like it wants to go make a new high, before it breaks out. You can see we're at a proverbial neckline here. We've made this double bottom. We went down, hit the neckline, went up, retested. And now if we take out this 85, it looks like new highs. So I kind of think this is the place to hang out. There's so much themes and counter themes and what have you. And, I made a big bet. I shared this with you. I'm still in it. At about the 36 level, I start buying stock and options and everything in Schlumberger. And, so I just try and find something where I can kind of understand it from a technical standpoint, understand where the risk is. So to me, this has been kind of, again, this long-term ascending, broadening pattern. And it looks like we need to go and do a retest or even take out the highs on Schlumberger. So a couple of weeks ago, I bought the 44 options. So we're pretty close. So you can see I'm still not in the money. Has to go above 44. I've got till October 28th, I think, for those. And then last week into a sell-off, I bought the November 14 45s. So, see how that goes. And I bought these 44 strike for 44 cents. I started buying 44, 47, 54, and now I think they're around $1.55. So I've made about 4x on those things. So we'll see how that goes. I think oil, the energy, these things all look like, they've had a huge move over the last week. They likely need to digest that move, probably have 3-4 days just back and forth. Would not surprise me. This is where holding options is very difficult because you start losing time value. But I think there's one more push in this thing. So here's the bottom. Here was another bottom. You took out the resistance, and now you could have a retest, play around here before hopefully having another thrust. So the question is, do I take some off here, wait for that pullback, put some on? And that's always the fun part, but this thing could just keep going north. So I don't really see that there's an area where there's going to be a meaningful pullback. You can see on Friday during that whole market thing, it pulled back about $1. And this is where I loaded up on more options for November. So I use these pullbacks as opportunities to get in. So, when I'm buying, when I'm looking to buy calls, I usually try and look for some action where there's a pullback. Conversely, if I'm looking to short, I look for the market to go higher that I can short into a rally. And to me, that's the best way to buy options. If you're trying to chase the momentum, you get stuck there and then it changes, you lose so much money so quickly. So it's a very tricky thing to do. But you have to look at the underlying. When I look at options and what I want to do an option, I look at what's going on in the underlying instrument. Where's this going? How fast is it likely to get there? And then I just try and, buy options around that plan. So, this thing looks like, it's really got an unimpeded path till, a high level. So that's kind of in my mind. I'd like to stick around to see how far I can get, into this thing. But all of these energy plays look like this. They've all kind of, consolidated, made this bottom, hanging around this neckline. This is EOG Resources. This, looks, all of these charts somewhat look the same. Had this huge drop, then they put on these bottoming patterns, then they collected themselves, they've taken out this neckline. Now they're just futzing around here. It could take a few more days just to back and forth around this neckline. But it just feels like they, are all just going to try and have another go at this thing, at the new highs. So energy seems like, if you get these market sell-offs, I would use those sell-offs in energy to actually get long. So I think somebody asked, about crude oil, Emilio. Yeah, I hope I answer your question about crude oil, Emilio. I think that, I always look at how something looks and then what does the market do in response to that look, meaning that, crude oil looked like it was forming this double top. We had this little trap bottom here, and now we're going back up. It's kind of like silver. So you can see it just right along these intersects, just caught right there, and simultaneously created this bear trap. We got under this neckline by just a hair, and then bumped right into that, support line. So, everybody's thinking about this, it's, going to go making new lows underneath this bottoming pattern, but then all of a sudden it runs into this long-term support. And now we're in your face grace up here. So I always look at, okay, here's the market. This does look like a top, a double top. Now, you could have many kind of, thrusts here, and it still will, that top will hold. So it hasn't really been taken out. But on the other hand, you never want to see something. So you can see that we slightly, again, these lines are somewhat arbitrary, but, you've stopped going down. If I see something, that signifies, or looks like it should be something, if it looks like a top, then the market action should correspond to what it's looking. And, very often, we get these looks, and then, the market's up there. And then that's what's called a busted pattern, where just market's not respecting that, and it's not a real pattern. This is, for right now, this is an uptrend. Trends do end, and they end with the pattern, but, now you got to start making lower highs and lower lows. And we still are kind of making this cadence of higher lows. If we turn around now and all of a sudden fail and then break through here, and now all of a sudden we've, making a cadence of lower lows, then, we could say, okay, trend is changing, reversal. But for right now, this is still in an uptrend. It's still respecting all of these pivot points. And, where it goes from here, now we're in really neutral territory. We're between support and resistance, and, where it goes here. Does it go and fail? Does it go and make a new high? Unknown. But this kind of thrusty price behavior, I don't think you want to fight it. I don't think you want to be short. So this is the monthly, and you can see we kind of, and this is what markets do, and this is what the markets are doing really on the dailies, is that once they get to certain areas of overhead supply, and here was the area of overhead supply, and boom, it banged into it right there. You know, whenever you hit major areas, you know, these are areas of distribution. So now people who were holding it here and the market gets back there, they're saying, okay, well, I can just get out of my position. So these markets reach, you know, these areas, and so this is what I'm saying. They reach, but then what do they do here? Do they just kind of consolidate here? Or is that a real top and they go that way? So you always kind of look at these major areas, and then you can only wait for the market to say, you know, that is an overhead supply area, and, you know, it's you know, a cross too bare, too much for that. Or the more you kind of stick around here, you then, you know, set up a stage where you can go again. But again, it's just like the S&P 3600. You never get to a major level and you just kind of take that out. It's always, you know, a bump and a grind and a fight. But the more you fight and the more it kind of hangs around there, then it sets the stage for that next thrust. So for right now, this is still, look at this, respecting this uptrend line. Until we take that out, you know, it's still the path of least resistance is higher. Hey, if you would like to trade alongside me every day and join our most prestigious program, then head over to thepatterntrader.com/club for more information.